All right, we're going to take a look at the economy and different policies in Nigeria. Here's just a quick letter if you want to read it. Um, Sent by an individual. It says his name is Dr. William Monroe. He's asking, he's got one of our accounts holding balance of 15 million pounds, has been dormant and last operated 3 years ago. From his investigations, confirmation the owner of the said account, a foreigner, died. So he's trying to give this money out. Since then, nobody has anything as regards to claiming this money, as he has no family members. I have decided to find a reliable foreign partner to deal with. I therefore propose to do business with you, standing as the next kin of these funds from the deceased and funds released to you after necessary processes have been filed. So what they're going to do is try to jip you off, ask for different things when this is kind of just a scam. So a lot of these scams have originated in Nigeria. So again, looking at their economy, their policies, some of their corruption. These are Nigerian 419 scams. Basically email messages and things like that, provide financial support up front. They receive, a large sum of money. It's a letter from a Nigerian who is a civil servant or a banker, a partner of some sort. Um, Most scams originate there, and 419 is a legal code banning these activities in Nigeria's government structure. So here's another look at one looking for business partners. It says the chairman of something assists us in carrying out the study before actual investment. Another letter as well. Sometimes they pretend there be princes and uh, things like that. So this individual was an individual who studied at Harvard and MIT, became the minister of finance, um, and had some success trying to create some change. So looking at the role the Nigerian government plays, and what success has her role actually had, but what failures as well. So she tried to increase transparency. So by publishing each state's financial allocations and where the money was going, and stimulated the housing sector. It was very successful. However, doing some of these things, the debt increased. A lot of projects were started but weren't fully sought, uh, fully completed, and she kind of dwindled out. And again, she tried to change things, even with her, her degrees from Harvard and MIT. Wasn't able to completely fix the structure there for their economy. So, looking at domestic and international factors controlling their policy of the World Bank helps finance projects throughout Nigeria. Their bureaucracy, commodities market. So, commodity market is a market that trades in primary economic sector rather than manufactured products. So, soft commodities are things like wheat and coffee, and hard commodities are gold and oil. And there's also ethnic and religious divisions as well. And we're looking at the idea of this is Nigeria's dependence, so the dependency theory. LDCs, or lesser developed countries, are exploited by the stronger developed countries. The economic progress of developing nations is hampered by them because they invest in them, but expect something in return. So, how can a country develop when its resources, natural, like oil and human resources, are controlled by a handful of those industrial countries, and usually it's companies? How can they continue to get themselves out when they're kind of locked down by these stronger countries? Looking at the World Bank, then, created to aid countries after World War II to help rebuild. They loan money to low and middle income countries at modest or decent interest rates. The bank's goal is to eliminate. They want to eliminate poverty and support them economically and develop their economies. It's dominated by the powerful countries again, who feel it with money, and it's pushed for neoliberal economic reforms, meaning they want to support extensive economic liberalization policies, such as privatizing things, deregulations, free trade, reduce spending by the governments, and enhance the role of that private sector. Debt burdens and pressures from international lenders have forced Nigeria to kind of accept these ideas and these reforms. Looking then at the economic structural adjustment, a drop in oil prices has forced Nigeria to turn to international organizations, like I said, to handle their huge debt. Government has pledged to reduce spending, privatize its parastatal, so all these government run organizations and businesses, they said they're going to privatize them. Um, but again, they've had problems paying off their debt. Looking at their bureaucracy, it's kind of elaborate, and it's similar to the British because it was set up by the British and then it was maintained. They kept it by Nigerians. Again, there's quota system in there, which can create corruption. It's very bloated, so it's very large, and a lot of times jobs are just rewarded because you know someone. Their patron-client system. Again, parastatals are owned by state, designated to provide commercial and social welfare systems, things like water, electricity, public transportation. The NEPA is Nigerian Electric Parastatal. However, they joke that it's the never expect power again parastatal. They don't trust it, never works. They controlled things like steel, defense products. Also, gasoline was subsidized by the Nigerian government. Good like Jonathan ended this. So again, they're trying to keep it down, but give individuals money so that the prices are lowered. But they ended this and prices went up. Again, Nigeria is one of those rentier states, heavily supported by state expenditure, while the state receives rent from other countries. Other countries are coming in, and they are going to use their oil and use their oil as a main source of income as well. So Nigeria uses the income to support their economy. Other countries are benefiting as well because they are selling this oil. The money is often spent in complex patron-client system, again leading to corruption. But if the oil prices dropped, Nigeria's economy is going to be hurt. So again, problems with that. They don't really have any diversity in their economy. The price fluctuates on international commodities. Again, they have to rely on the international market. There's no incentive to industrialize or be creative here. And if you're not giving it back to the citizens, you don't have to really be accountable to them. The needs, national economic empowerment and development strategy started by Obasanjo, increased transparency for their government finances. Things were audited, looked at their accounts where the money was going, tackled some corruption, improved the rule of law. They're seizing over $500 million, and focusing on infrastructure as well. So this program helps put the money in the right spots and transportation, telecommunications, sanitation. And again, their success, though, is tied to the oil prices because if it's doing well, they have more money to spend elsewhere. Looking at Nigeria, then, just one of the supranational organizations they're involved in is the Economic Community of West African States, 15 states in Africa. They're the largest, has begun to play a major role. They're a very large economy. They also serve as a peacekeeping force and with the Nigerian army providing a bulk of the forces. So it's kind of an economic system with countries working together, but also peacekeeping to help individuals out.